Good evening. Welcome to the Stephen Knight Show. Hope you're having a great Monday. We're going to try our best to make it even better for you. Today, we welcome author The Lou from the Lou. He has a book called How a Player Got Played. He's going to put y'all into some game. Then in Hot Topics, we discuss Joe Biden's recent cancer diagnosis and how Kamala Harris and Donald Trump are responding. Plus, we discuss a week two into the Diddy trial and Trump calling on an investigation into Kamala Harris' presidential campaign. All that and much more. We're on Joe all over Facebook, Blue Sky, X, and of course our YouTube channel, The Stephen Knight Show. Please subscribe and comment. We definitely appreciate you. Now, this is May, so it's Mental Health Awareness Month, and it's observed every May and has been a significant initiative since 1949 to promote awareness about mental health issues and the importance of mental health wellness, excuse me. And I can tell you for myself, I've been going to therapy since 2017. It's been life-changing, so make sure you stay on top of your mental health. It's very important. We have Shaq back from the Let's Be Clear podcast. They dropped their first episode, I believe, last week. Tell us about it, Shaq.
Yes. Yes, it was good. Just very much conversational, titled Gym Bro. So we're discussing all things gym related in a very, I can say, us way.
The playlist,
Um,
the Summer Walker.
I like Summer Walker. I like listening to R&B in the gym sometimes. So we kind of got we have a difference of opinion on that, but I feel as though you can work out effectively to R&B. So
And Chike Evans, how you feeling?
Listen, blessed by the best, brother.
I heard that. Well, let's get it started. So, question of the day. How many friends from high school do you keep in touch with? I'll ask you, Chike, first.
Um, at this current time, probably one. There used to be two, but it's one now.
Hmm. What about you,
I,
Shaq? Oh, sorry.
as the senior member on this panel, I'm here to attest. As you get older and as you grow and mature, your circles do get smaller, and
Yeah,
you start weeding out different people.
very
Yeah.
true. Very true. Yeah. What about you, Shaq?
I mean, not that many, but I just didn't mess with a lot of people in high school anyway. I was a little, I don't know what the word. I was very popular, but I wasn't around. My circle was tight at the same time. So, I still talk to at least about 3 to 4 people from high school.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I talk to there's some that I'll see when I go home always. We've been friends, forever. But most of them I keep up on social media. You know what I mean? Those like I can keep up with what's going on social media. I don't really talk to them like, you know, we don't hang out when I go home and stuff like that.
Question, what social media platform is that?
Facebook.
I don't do that. So that I knew you was going with that. I don't do
I
that.
know.
Like that's another reason why I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on unless they pick up the phone and call, but
Right.
they have group chats and all that stuff, and it just misses me by. So
Yeah. It's funny, I was on a page this weekend from my high school, like Facebook page, like it popped up
Mhm.
and they were posting all this stuff. I said, I don't have a clue what's going on in this school anymore.
No. And some of them are unrecognizable.
Yeah, yeah,
So,
yeah, yeah. Well, go on our Blue Sky and X. Let us know how many friends from high school you keep in touch with. All right, so week two of Diddy's sex trafficking and racketeering trial has started with Don Richard on the stand. She testified that she witnessed Sean Combs abuse Cassie on multiple occasions. Now, Cassie's former friend Carrie Morgan took to the stand today as well, and she detailed the dynamic of their past relationship. Morgan says that her friendship ended with Cassie after she allegedly was assaulted by Diddy, which left her with the concussion. She was then paid $30,000, and Cassie gave her an NDA, and they have not spoken since. Now, before court adjourned today, the prosecution called its next witness to the stand, Diddy's former assistant, David James. James testified about the things he overheard during his time working with Diddy, including an alleged conversation in Star Island. James alleged Diddy spoke about two of his 5 girlfriends at the time, which included Cassie and Kim Porter. So we've heard a lot in this with this trial. I mean, Diddy's a wild boy. Stuff they were into sexually, and But they're saying that they're not, although, yes, we're seeing the violence and the sex acts and all that kind of stuff, they're not proving the racketeering part of the case, which that could get him life in prison. But they're saying so far they've not even really touched that. I saw someone post on Facebook last week, I think on Friday, is Cassie a freak or a victim? And I was reading the comments, and I've seen a lot of women just disgusted with some of the comments they're seeing, and people are saying online. You have to remember when he met her, she was 19 years old, and the freak off started 6 months after that, and he was a lot older. And so I'm sure he influenced her. But what are your thoughts? I'll start with you, Chike. What are your thoughts on this case so far and what we're hearing?
You're always putting me in these positions to get me in trouble.
I know.
So I have to be really careful about this because I'm a believer that multiple things can be true at once.
Yeah.
And yes, she was young, she was impressionable, and he had the power and the means and the intelligence. But she also had a drive and a goal and a dream. There's something about when those two mix and connect. I believe both are true. I believe that she probably was very driven and stayed in a situation that she knew was horrible because she was looking for the payoff. She was looking for her big break, and she kept standing there and staying in it, hoping that she was going to get what she, anticipated or what she dreamed about. Because I'm sure he was dangling carrots in front of her. And then every time it got thick, he threw something her way to make her realize, I still am able to deliver what I say I'm going to deliver. How many times do we hear these stories?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm gonna make you famous. I'm gonna make you worldwide.
Well,
You know how it goes.
yeah, she did say that she couldn't afford to leave him. And she said that he would threaten her because when they would have these freak offs, he wouldn't be in the videos. He would be recording it, and he would say, "I'm gonna put these out if you leave me," things like that. So, but I do think there's two things to be true at the same time, like you said. But I do believe with his power, and that's not a bad thing that he was a powerful man, but with his power, I'm sure there was a lot of control there too, especially for a young.
And let's keep it all the way 100. It's not even always about being young and impressionable. Some older people fall, and I'm not just gonna say women. Older people fall subject to that too, just simply because they have pie in the sky eyes and they want a certain thing or they desire a certain thing, and someone has it dangling, on the end of a string. But these are the conditions. These are the alternatives. I need some sides.
And she said she was very jealous of other women with him. That's why
I'm sure that was part of the game.
Participated in those freak offs. Shaq, jump in. What are your thoughts on all that?
I do feel as though my thoughts kind of are centered around just the environment that she was put in at a very young age, as far as part of the grooming. And people are groomed very differently, and I think that this is very common, honestly, but on the scale of Diddy being a billionaire and at her age, I think that she was very naive. But as time moved on, I think all of those things are true. But I think psychologically, you can start depending on things. You can start to feel like this is okay. Even with all the things described, people, like you said in some of the comments, of like, why she stayed, why she do this, why she didn't do this. And I'm like, well, obviously every time she would try, there was a response from Diddy. And I also think that she did have those dreams and wanted to break out and do everything musically. But I also think that with the influence of a lot of drugs at the rate that they were using drugs, I think that she wasn't there, and I think that got blindsided by who she really was, and you start to make those decisions. Like you lose your best friend over 17 years because of this person and he's abusing you, and people are trying to take up for you and you feel like this is right. So I just think that she wasn't there. Like she just definitely wasn't present. And so when we're getting all the details from way back in and you look at the present, I think it is very easy to judge, to say these things about her. Not saying that she's no angel,
Right.
but I'm saying that she, from my standpoint, I felt like that once that clarity happened, it happened, and it's almost as if I tried to get away, this happened, right? So you're constantly getting beat down to a point where you're away now,
Yeah.
and now she had to go through treatment.
Rehab. Yep.
And so you get that moment of clarity of like, okay, this now I'm looking back on it like, wow, right? Because even we're looking at certain videos in a different light now when they were at his party in Mexico. In certain area, even when I ain't gonna lie, even when I see people around him now, back in the day, I was like, was you a part of the freak house?
Yeah.
Like, I figured something out. Like, what was happening? So I just think that, yeah, I think that she, as this case is, we're getting more and more details and people are responding. I think that people should really understand too that I don't want people to kind of like feel like this is okay for to say that she's a victim and she wanted, like she was complicit in some way of this. Like I feel like there's a sense to normalize this and praise, give an excuse to Diddy in some way. He has no excuse at the end of the day of what he did. So
There was this woman, Donna Richards. She testified that there was a woman taunting her as she was, I don't know, she was leaving, going to court or leaving the court, but asking her how big Diddy's thing was. And I mean, just nasty. Like there's some people that will ride for a person regardless. I saw someone said they're trying to take black men down one by one.
yes,
Someone
I've
said
seen it.
they're holding black men accountable for what they've done.
Yeah,
You
the
know,
community lacks discernment when it comes to, okay. But yeah,
and then I didn't know that Diddy overdosed the same night when Houston passed away. I
mm,
didn't know that it was something else I just thought about. Oh, that video we all saw where they're in the hotel. She was leaving a freak off. Leaving the freak off, and you saw he came out in just his towel and drug, we saw the abuse. She said she went to his house that night. And it was interesting because I'm watching The View and Sunny Hostin, she's been in the courtroom, and she said that she was watching Cassie testify, and it was very believable, but she could see on the jurors' faces how she wasn't sure all of them believed her because she kept going back. And she said it's almost like they need to have an expert come in there and explain why abused women go back to their abusers. You know what I mean?
user, right?
Because she did those cases for years, prosecuted those cases for years, but she said people don't always understand. Well, why would you go back if he's beating you up? Well, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? You don't understand that syndrome. So
And then listen, I definitely understand the fact. I mean, I question it myself. Like, I couldn't be my sister, couldn't be my like. It's certain stuff, in my opinion, that I would just die for. Like, it would only take me one time to hear that if that was a loved one. Don't
yeah.
ask what I would do. I just know I wouldn't be quiet about it and I'll be doing something. And ain't nothing gonna put no fear in my heart to stop me protect my sister. So
Yeah.
yeah.
All right, well, according to CNN, former President Joe Biden has been diagnosed with an aggressive form of prostate cancer. Has reportedly spread to his bones. In a statement from his office, a spokesperson said last week, President Joe Biden was seen for a new finding of prostate nodule after experiencing increasing urinary symptoms. On Friday, he was diagnosed with prostate cancer, which is characterized by a Gleason score of 9 out of grade group 5, which is metastasized, I can't say, excuse me, to the bone. Um, and then Kamala Harris came out and said how Joe was a fighter. Donald Trump surprisingly sent his well wishes last night, but today was talking junk, talking about some of his mental decline, and if that had something to do with his presidency. JD Vance did the same kind of thing. It's like this is not the time. But this is what I hate. Now they're on this crusade trying to say, when did he know he had cancer? Did he have cancer when he was in the White House? He could have got reelected, and then within a month, going through all this. But they had an expert on there. They said prostate cancer shows up differently for different people. And when you're at his age, you don't even get tested unless you have symptoms early on, like early as a man. You'll get checked for prostate cancer because after the age of 70, 75, the treatment could be more bothersome to you than the cancer. And they said there are people walking around that probably have prostate cancer and don't know and are living fine. They say even with this diagnosis, even though it's metastasized to the bone, he still could be fine and live a healthy life with the treatment because he can still have the hormones. It's hormone sensitive treatment can help him manage it. Like I have a friend, his father was a lot older when he had him, and his dad has had cancer for years, prostate cancer for years, but they don't want to do chemo and that kind of stuff because they think he's too old for that. So definitely sending his thoughts. But what are your thoughts, Check, on the reaction and the questioning?
I mean, I think people have, I mean, as president of the United States, there are going to be questions,
Yeah.
right? I think people should show empathy, you know, for the family. I think that with this current administration, there's nothing I can't really just, I mean, I have no expectations. I have nothing that's come as a shock. So I knew that there were going to be jabs and questions and any way to, you know, get their base even more red meat to debate the smart ones of the United States of this situation. So it doesn't come as like I said, as a shock about the questions. I do think that at some point when I first heard it, my initial thought was, until, you know, I kind of got into the details, that maybe that was the reason for him buying out. So that was like an initial instinct because we seen Joe, right? You know, he's old. I wouldn't say he was in the best health, but he was just older. So yeah, I don't know. I think this will pass over. I think this is not, people are trying to desensitize, you know, and make this normal to attack and kind of have all these crazy questions and conspiracy theories. But as sitting, you know, a former president, I'm sorry, I can see why there would be legitimate questions.
Chika, he posted a picture with his wife and their cat, and he said, "Cancer touches us all. Like so many of you, Jill and I have learned that we're the strongest in broken places. Thank you for lifting us up with love and support." But let me ask you, what are your thoughts on the reactions from people?
I mean, people are going to react how they're going to react. I mean, because this is in the world of politics, they're going to pick it apart, dissect it, and try to apply it where they think they want it to be, or wherever it's most helpful for whoever is dissecting it and putting it together. It's laughable. No surprise that this administration is going where they're going with it, just simply because of how they think and who they are and what their agenda is, right? But so what if he knew? So what if he had cancer when he was president? So what if they lied to the American people about that? Last time I checked, there's a law called HIPAA, and your medical information is your business. You don't have to tell anybody anything. But I could accept a lie about that more than a lie about you getting gifts from a king or a prince that lives in another country, or a lie about you maybe possibly being on an airplane that belonged to somebody else doing bad things that you shouldn't have been doing. I could tolerate lies about someone's personal health and you didn't want me to know, as opposed to you being unfit to run the office that you're in. I can deal with a lie about somebody trying to be private about their information. Me personally.
A lot's been being said because there's a book coming out, I think, this week that talks about how the administration allegedly hid Joe Biden's decline in health and mental equality. And so I wonder how that, with this diagnosis, where that book is going to land now. Because a lot of people are saying, why now? You know what I mean? But I'll be curious to see. But definitely wishing him, you know, peace and speedy recovery or whatever he needs for him and his family. All right, well, check this out. So Donald Trump announced on Truth Social that he is calling for a major investigation into artists performing during former Vice President Kamala Harris's campaign events. In his post, Trump specifically called out Beyonce and Bruce Springsteen, alleging that they accepted payment to perform at Harris's campaign rallies. He also questioned whether Oprah and Bono received compensation for their involvement. Trump went on to accuse Harris of engaging in illegal endorsements to draw larger crowds, referring to her campaign turnouts as sparse. He concluded by labeling her actions as both corrupt and unlawful. Other presidential campaigns have hosted celebrity performances covering production costs and event-related expenses rather than paying personal fees in compliance to Federal Election Commission regulations. Now, some of Trump's notable performers during the campaign included Kid Rock, Gretchen Wilson, Jason Aldean, and others. It's like he throws something at the wall every day just to distract us from what's really going on. Chica, does he have a point?
I mean, he's entitled to want to investigate what he wants to investigate. So when they start investigating all the artists that performed with Kamala Harris, during that time, fine. Whatever you find is whatever you find. But when are we going to investigate you for having Tesla vehicles on the lawn of the White House? Can we get that investigation going? Can we get the investigation going as opposed to what may have happened on that social media app that your staff wanted to talk about, details of an attack? Can we get to that investigation too? I mean, what's good for the goose is good for the gander. If we get the investigation, we'll get the investigating it.
Right, exactly. Shaq?
First of all, why are you bothering Beyonce? Why? Why are you bothering her? Why do she catch these strays?
That's straight.
Why are you
She woke
up like that?
Right.
But
He specifically pointed her out.
it's just so comical. Like, and my thing is this: I get we have to discuss these things, but at some point, it's like, are y'all like trying to take my just like the remaining sales I have here that are good? Are you just trying to just flip them, take them? Like, what are you trying to do? Because this is how laughable is this? I can't deal with that.
Right.
I really can't. You accept a $400 million plane. Didn't Elon Musk pay people to vote?
Yes. And
What,
then,
isn't that-
but he's being sued. Elon Musk being sued because in some of them states.
Oh, I'm sorry. That's not your friend. That's your fat friend now. So you're not.
Oh, yeah.
You're disassociating yourself with him and the brand now that he's done what he needed to do and you got his money from him. So do we need to look into that? Right? Like TK said, like the list is staggering of what we need to be looking into. And first of all, you're a felon. I mean, what? I don't understand the logic. And I feel like, again, each time he gets on live social, he sits here and does this thing to his fan base who believes they don't believe in expertise. They don't believe in studies. They think that's all fake news. They think it's conspiracy. We have been the same studies that help them live a healthy life are the same studies that are now the conspiracy theories or fake news because Donald Trump said so.
Right.
Like, maybe I'm triggered because he's coming from Beyonce, but I'm just saying, like, it's just laughable. He has done like a lot of things that need to be investigated.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think he should be, and now, like you said, it is a deflection. It is because guess what? When you mention that name, when you mention certain things, right? Everyone's attention goes to it. So sometimes we are the people to blame because we lack that focus. We lack that intellect to stay focused and just kind of keep our eyes on the straight and narrow and harbor his ass to do the right thing. And so they know that and they throw it out there every time and we just
he's good at distracting. He's great at that.
Run to it. So yeah.
And so I hope these artists, because they have more means than your average person, I hope that they, use their resources to stick it to him legally. But at the same time, you're doing all this, you're spending all this money to go after these artists for this alleged crime. Eggs are still the price that what they are.
Right. Yeah.
I thought groceries you were going to take care of.
You don't
And
know what that
his
is.
birthday parade is going to be $100 million. Taxpayer money.
I'm protesting
Yeah.
that day, actually.
I hope his followers and supporters, and I hope they're happy about that. I hope they enjoy it. Tune in. My TV will be off the whole day.
He's asked the military to be good patriots and not seek raises this year.
They'll do it. They trust in them. They believe it. And again, at the end, though, it's hard for us to accept that once the shit has hit the fan, and now you're like, we have to, but it makes it harder for people like us to say, okay, you realize you've come to the light. Now what, right? Because at the end
I
of the day,
wonder
we
what
kind of just
happened.
want to say, go on about your business. This is who you voted for. But that's also helping divide because our strength is in numbers. So we need those people to wake the fuck up and understand like what you're doing is affecting you thinking it's affecting you. And now all the CEOs are realizing that too, the people that he's in business with, because he's all for himself at the end of the day. So
Yeah.
I don't get it. But
I wonder what it would look like if the major networks just decided not to air any of that
I
at
wish
all.
they wouldn't. I wish they wouldn't. I won't be watching. I will not be watching.
they're a little beholden to him. So I don't know what it is that has them afraid.
They love
Um, Yeah, I mean, I think that I think his fan base love him, but I think the people who are around him, I feel like they're terrified. I
it.
feel
Oh
like
yeah.
they are definitely, regretting it, don't know what
Yeah.
to do. I feel like they are terrified.
And I
Yeah.
think some of them are waking up and realizing that the selling of their soul is not worth what they're going to get.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And,
Yeah.
and and I know, I'm sorry, Stephen, for jumping out, but I just recently heard something about some people in the administration or on that side. They want to create a reality show
Oh
where
yeah.
foreign people have to compete and fight for citizenship.
Yep. Yep.
What kind of shit?
Money, and that's what's gonna get it. But people gonna watch.
Mhm.
Hmm
11 inmates are reportedly missing from New Orleans Justice Center last week. I think it was on Friday. Deputies say they discovery was around 8:30 a.m. during a routine head count. According to reports, two of the inmates have since been recaptured, while the remaining 9 are still out on the run. Authorities believe that the escapes exploited facility vulnerabilities and may have had help from someone inside. Photos from the scene, I also saw a video, show them inmates pried a toilet from the wall to gain access to a hallway, then escape through a supply door. They reportedly scaled a wall and crossed the I-10 highway, still wearing orange jumpsuits. Police say that the jumpsuits were found by nearby neighborhood. They also left a note behind taunting the officers. Oh, what do you thought? What are your thoughts on these? Is somebody in trouble? Shaq, somebody in trouble for these guys escaping?
Yes, and I think it's also didn't they go live?
Did they?
Yes. That's how they caught one. I think it's 11 escaped, but the 4 were caught, right?
I think
Well, no, 5 is caught now, right?
okay, yeah, probably.
Yeah, I think one of them went. I read that one actually went live. Yeah, one, I don't understand how they escaped. I just don't. That was crafty. That was sneaky, but it also is telling a lot about the system.
Yeah.
How are they able to do that? And just literally get away. Um, I don't know. I don't have too many thoughts around this. I just think that it's not funny, but I laughed when I seen the message.
No,
Um,
right.
yeah, the note was very funny. I'm like, this is so unserious. But I hope that they catch the inmates. I hope that they're not, everyone stays safe and vigilant and keep their heads on the swivel about this in New Orleans. But it's New Orleans too. So, they have a lot of um activities and things that's going on. It's a very tourist city, so it's easy to kind of like blend in if they really wanted to. So the fact that they went live is just amazing.
That was wild. Chicken, what are your thoughts? Someone getting fired?
I guess I To me,
Mm.
to me, honestly, when I watched the video, it looked like somebody opened the barn door and said, "Run."
Yeah.
And they all just kind of like popped out and just started running. Listen, if I was going to escape a prison, it would take me a year to plan because I would need to have a plan when I got out, and it would be it's my quickest route immediately out of the country.
Yeah.
Not I'm gonna go hide over Bessie May house,
And go
or
live.
I'm gonna go live or hide in an alleyway in a dark corner. That's not the answer.
Right.
Straight route out of the country.
Yeah.
You could tell that this wasn't thought through. You could tell that it was for a lot of them. You remember how when you were a kid and you play hide go seek and the one person counts to 10 and y'all all scatter? That's what it looked like to me. It was
Yeah.
unplanned. They didn't know where they were going. I think I seen a couple stutter
Uh,
steps.
Yeah, that was
A
crazy.
whole mess.
Well, congratulations to Jamal Roberts for winning season 23 of American Idol. According to Ryan Seacrest, the singer won after a record-breaking 26 million votes on the show, more than double last year's finale votes. Now, I have not watched American Idol in years, but I do see the performances on TikTok sometimes. This guy is really talented. But the controversy behind it all, Carrie Underwood, she was one of the judges this year. And people were picking up, they thought that she was very critical of Jamal, and she wasn't as much with others. And they were saying she'll need to come back on the show. People were really bonding to help him. She's been getting a lot of backlash since she performed at the inauguration for Trump, when she sang America Beautiful. So they think she's racist and all that kind of stuff. But I was so glad to see that he won, because I remember one performance, he had killed it. And she said, I mean, yes, we know you can sing, but you need to pull out all the stops. Use your the whole stage. She ain't saying to not one other person that stood there and sang. So people were picking up on that, but I'm glad he won. He's super talented. Chike, I think I know the answer. Have you watched and do you care?
No, I'm good with American Idol when they're up to, before they actually start the show. I
Yeah.
like to laugh at the auditions, but once that part is over, I'm done.
Yeah. What about you, Shaq?
So it was very exciting simply because he's a Mississippi native. And I'm from Mississippi.
Yes.
So I think everyone that I know was like, my mom was very excited because she watched the show. She actually called me, I guess, when they announced last night that he won, but I didn't answer because I already know she was about to just go on and on about it. But no, I think that he can sing. I think that he gives he being from Mississippi, he gives that southern country flair to his voice.
Yeah.
It's very soulful. And the fact that he could go gospel country and could, I mean, honestly, when that I forgot what that country song that he did sing. I felt like I was, oh no, it wasn't country, it was more blues that he did. I felt like I was just at a fish fryer, honestly. I felt like it was like it took me back. So I was very excited that he won. As far as the backlash, I mean, we already know what that's about, unspoken. So that I'll leave it at that with her. I don't think anyone really paid her dust, obviously. And so I'm very happy for him. I'm very happy. I know that they did have like a party like at his hometown. That was very exciting. So
Congratulations, Jamal. Well, listen, Shaq, let us know where we can keep up with the podcast.
Official LBC podcast, episode 1 with Jim Bros is out. We'll also be doing several other sessions regarding some things that are going on right now, such as housewives, such as politics, etc. So definitely keep us locked in. That's official LBC podcast, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, TikTok.
Right. Well, thank you for stepping in for us again this week. We'll be right back. When we come back, we have our interview with the Lou from the Lou right back after this.